Hey y'all, I'm Kiera.
And I'm Ray.
And welcome back
And
to Yes
welcome to
Black
Yes Black
Girl.
Girl. Ooh, we
For those
here.
that are new to us, Yes Black Girl is a digital space and interview series created for Black women by Black women. So stay with us for a while and we hope that you leave feeling inspired. What it do, Ray? I'm loving
Everything's doing. Thank you.
I'm loving your hair right now. It's beautiful. Are
Yes.
you locking it up?
Uh-huh.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
gonna be
most of it,
beautiful.
like the roots aren't fully locked, but like this part, it's you can't even tell that they were
I
twists at
love
one
it.
point.
Are you
Thank
gonna do it
you.
in like a cute little like cut, or are you just gonna let them grow?
So my hairstylist who cut my hair, she cut it in layers because she wanted to do like a
Ooh.
bob hairstyle on me, and I needed to cut them
Ooh.
dead. My ends was looking real scruffy. So right now it is kind of in a bob. It is a bob. Um, yeah. So for now,
It's gonna be
yes,
hella cute.
it's a little B.O.B. What's your name? So they call you Bob. Yes.
Okay. I love that.
How are
Let's
you?
go ahead and get I'm good, girl. I'm tired. And I don't even know why I'm tired. Like yesterday, I had the day off, but for some reason, I don't know. It's like even the days when you're resting, you're still doing a million things.
Yep.
That being said, I'm
Yep.
glad that it's Friday and I'm planning on seeing a lot of friends that I haven't seen in a while. So I'm looking forward to that. And just, just having like a little mental break, I think it's gonna be good for me this weekend.
Yes, you
Yeah.
deserve it,
Yeah. I mean we all do, child. It's like it's crazy. I really want to go on vacation, but
girl.
you know, hopefully soon.
Yes.
But
One of these days.
one of these days. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into our guest because Miss Girl is already, setting the bar, and I'm so excited for her. Today's guest is a senior journalism major hailing from Fort Wayne, Indiana. And as a student journalist on track to graduate this spring, she has made it a point to make her mark within her campus community with positivity and perseverance at the forefront. She gracefully balances her leadership positions and academics with God at the center of it all. She's founder and CEO of King's Mindset Initiative, an organization dedicated to creating a safe space for young Black men to come together and discuss their mental health disparities. She's also president of the online publication Her Campus, Hampton U, president of the Hampton University chapter of the National Association of Black Journalists, corresponding secretary of the Hampton University Midwest Pre Alumni Council, and she is also a member of the Hampton University chapter of the NAACP.
She does it
Listen,
all.
she said I'm involved, okay? And most recently, Sherdell was granted with the opportunity to be selected as part of Bloomberg's HBCU Academy of Excellence, which afforded her the opportunities to tour the company's headquarters in New York City and receive a fast track application for the company's news and media rotational program next summer. She also had the honor of serving as Miss Black Indiana USA 2022 and competed in the Miss Black USA pageant this past August. Let's give a warm, warm YBG welcome to Sherdell Baker. Welcome, beautiful.
Thank you guys so much
Yes.
for having me. Oh, you guys
You're
are just
welcome.
awesome, so warm. Welcome. Thank you.
Yes. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I actually just came off from doing another pageant this past weekend, so I'm really just
Oh, nice.
there's been a lot going on. In
Mm,
preparation, in the midst of homecoming and then midterms after that. Really just trying to
mm,
find the balance in it all and trying to just be a good student in
yes. It's
I
hard out
remember
here
those
for a
days.
student. Okay.
All right.
It's a different time.
Man.
Right. Yes. Okay, so we're gonna get into the this or that portion of the
that.
show. All right, so the first one is Indiana or Virginia?
Ooh. I'm gonna have to say Virginia, only because I love people from the DMV. I think even though they can be a little rough around the edges, I think that
Mm.
Yeah.
people from this area have just always made it a point to just really be embracing. I feel like Virginia is like right at the top of the South, so I still get that
Mm.
Southern love, that Southern comfort from being
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
So the next one is the calf or takeout.
here. Ooh, I'm gonna say
What y'all?
takeout.
Okay, y'all. Is the
Well,
calf food not good
I
or?
mean, okay, so I stay off campus now. So we don't, when you're
Mm.
off campus student, you have to, you're basically not part of the meal plan anymore. But we've actually got a new president here at Hampton University, which has been doing an amazing job with getting us like some really good food. I just haven't been there
Nice.
yet. They've been having like crab boils and like soul food
Hold up.
Sunday. Yes,
Crab balls. Oh, what?
yes.
The soul
Crab
food
boils and
Sunday is the
crab.
norm, but baby, if I could crack me a crab at the calf,
Yes,
Yeah.
I have not had the
I'm
luxury of going
jealous.
yet, but everybody's been saying that it's really good. And I've actually met the president like face to face person. He's so amazing. I think he's really doing a great job in his first year to really listen to the students and see what we want.
Mm,
So I'm
so
definitely excited
needed.
to see what else he implements, even though I will be leaving soon. But I think
Yeah.
the next generation of students will really embrace him and feel the same.
Yeah, that's a hard pill to swallow when you see somebody finally coming in and making like the necessary changes and then you on your way out. But it's also so dope to see the evolution too, girl. Guess it's so dope to
Yes.
see
Man,
the evolution
man.
because it's like you know that they don't have to go through what you went through, but god
Mhm.
damn. Like,
For
oh
sure, for
bitch.
sure. Change is good. Change is good.
Yes,
It is.
yes, yes. All
That's how I
right. So the
felt
next
about
one,
Bowie.
girl, BSU really they have made a whole 180 and it's like, wait a second.
So many changes. Like,
You
oh
guys
my.
go for Philly?
Mhm.
Yes, that's where we met.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were broadcast majors.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Okay, this is really full circle then.
It really is.
Hmm.
No, really. Yeah, because we started
Yeah.
a radio project that it
Mhm.
was a project that we had to do for our was that radio production class?
I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah. And we had a show called Vigorous and Black. So
Hmm.
Oh,
yeah, so
I
it's
Yeah.
love
this is kind of like a
that.
spin-off to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. We love HBC
Okay. It's a different life, different,
actually.
just different energy. All right. So the next one is morning classes or evening classes.
Ooh, definitely morning without a hesitation.
Mm.
I have one evening class now, and I'm still struggling, and it's like week 6 or 7. um,
Oof.
I'm a big morning person. I love to get my academic life out of the way first, so I can have the rest of my afternoon and evening to handle my business within my campus organizations, and even just for my
Facts.
self care. Again, just finding the balance, trying to make sure that it's all running. So definitely
Yes.
morning.
I feel you on that. I definitely am a morning class person too. And I don't like getting up, but I will because you're right. You have the rest of your day and
Yeah.
it gives you that extra time. It's like, okay, I'm done with everything. I used to hate when everybody else would be going to their late classes. I'm like, damn, where y'all at?
That was
I'm
me.
done for the day.
I was
Get my
not a
nap
morning
in.
class. I was not a morning
Yeah.
class girl. I started class.
Mm,
The earliest I would want to start was 11, but I did have some classes around like 8 or 9 earlier
yeah. 9
on.
was the one for me.
Mm.
Love me a good 9 o'clock class.
Hated it, but I made it through. So we're here
Yeah.
now.
That's what matters.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So the next one is homecoming or March Madness.
Ooh, homecoming.
Mm,
Even though Hampton is going through some changes right now with homecoming, I think as I'm looking into my senior year and looking back at just the other homecomings that we've had, it's always been an amazing experience for me. Obviously,
mm,
everybody loves March Madness and just Spring Fest that we have here in Hampton. Um,
mhm,
it's something about homecoming, something about the fall, something about the fit, the energy.
mhm.
And a lot of my friends, well, not a lot, but some are actually graduating like this fall, so they won't be here in the spring. So I'm
Oh,
gonna be
okay. It's not even gonna be
yeah,
the same. Yeah,
it's
I feel
not.
that.
So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely homecoming.
Yeah, homecoming is a whole vibe. And it's like getting to see all the alumni come back. There's so many different events.
Mhm.
March Madness, I love because of basketball. I love basketball, but it's
Mhm.
like outside of that, it's really homecoming hands down. All right, the last one is lifestyle content or social political content.
lifestyle for sure.
Mm.
I'm very big into understanding what's going on, so my awareness socially and politically. But when I'm actually writing and I'm doing different stories and coverage, I always kind of gravitate towards lifestyle because I feel like, I guess for me personally, as a Black woman, I'm always trying to give knowledge and kind of gain my own knowledge on how to make my life as best as possible. So, like
Yeah.
the whole trends when it comes to, living a soft life or more about femininity, I think I kind of gravitate towards those things. I'm always trying to make myself the best version of myself as much as possible,
Mm.
which is no real definition to that. It's kind of personally defined to me. But I think as I'm
Mm.
study evolving and study learning more about myself, I'm seeing who I actually want to be in society and how I want to be
That's beautiful. I love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna hop into the questions now. So we're
viewed.
gonna talk about your work with Her Campus. So what steps did you take to become president, and what inspired you to pursue journalism?
Okay, so first of all, shout out to Her Campus Hampton U. I love my chapter. um, how I actually got involved with Her Campus and the steps that I took to become president was first actually becoming a member. Her Campus was actually the first organization that I joined here while being a freshman at Hampton. And even I joined before I actually became a student. So I thought they were having applications and they didn't like they put, okay, what's your classification? I put freshman since I knew I was going to Hampton, but I hadn't actually stepped foot on the campus yet. So I was in
Mm.
like the group me with everybody, like listening and interacting, but I wasn't like writing it. And that was really like the sheer factor of just I want to be involved. I want to be able to find my people.
Mm.
And Her Campus was that for me. I never felt uncomfortable. I never felt, you're trying to meet new people and it's kind of like, I don't know. Like they really made me feel welcome. I had amazing editors at the time who really pushed me outside of my scope of writing to kind of get me to where I'm at today. And just, again, the network that I've been able to build and seeing how they really pushed me to just be great. So going from a member, then I was on the e-board. Now I'm president, well, vice president, and now president. Um, it was just a never ending grind. And I think having those women believe in me and seeing my talent early on, like I still keep in
Mm.
contact with alumni of the organization today. Like I literally just texted them, like, "Are y'all coming to homecoming? Like, are we gonna be able to do this? Are we
Oh.
gonna be able to do that?" Like I'm really big on that community and that network because it gave me so much. Some of my greatest memories from freshman year are with Her Campus. So I'm just
Mm.
hoping that for myself as president, I'm able to do that and really give that to the members that are here now, especially with the pandemic. A lot of them didn't get the full effect, excuse me, of what the organization actually is and what it stands for. So I'm hoping that my presidency, I'm able to push that a little bit more. Um, and I'm just really excited to see where the semester and the school year takes me. Not even just for me, but again for the members, for the e-board. A lot of the girls who started with me in Her Campus are now seniors along with me, so they've been through the journey with me and kind of seeing,
Mm.
their growth, my growth, how we're kind of just slowly closing this chapter. I think it's such a beautiful thing that I've been able to just be a part of.
That's amazing. I love that.
Yes.
Journalism career. I'm sorry,
Yes.
or
No, you're
journalism.
Oh, it's
fine.
fun.
Um, how I got started into journalism was just always wanting to storytell. I never was really a news person. I just always loved writing. So like all throughout elementary, middle school, high school, I was always like getting straight A's in English. When everybody else had to write like long articles and they hated it, I always loved it. I was always like the first person done with
Yep.
like the
Mhm.
science test, everything. I loved writing. I loved just being able to speak my mind and really convey my voice. And initially,
Mm.
I wanted to be an author. And I still don't know really how this happened, but going on Google and trying to do research, I was under the impression that authors did not make money. And I don't really
Oh,
know why.
girl, they be making
Yeah,
money.
now I see. But at the
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
time, for whatever reason, it was just like I wasn't seeing. I don't know. It was just weird, but I mean, this was like years ago.
Everybody
So
trying to keep
fast
you from
forward,
being creative.
honestly, maybe Google was just against me that day. I don't
Yeah.
know. With that being said, I kind of was just researching what other career allowed me to write and kind of again speak my voice, and that was journalism. So after me doing research throughout my junior and senior year, and eventually learning more about HBCUs as well, I was able to kind of put the two together and make a beautiful marriage that is now known
Mm.
as my journalism career, and I've loved it ever since. I think I've really been able to define the type of journalist I want to be. So initially, I wanted to be
Mm.
a reporter. I wanted to be in the storm. I wanted to be like at the news, that, like like really wanting to be
Mm-hmm.
involved. And I think from hearing different people's stories about their careers, I realized that maybe that's not what I want. Um, Maybe something that's slower paced could be better for me because journalism, as you both know, is very fast paced. You really have to be on top of it. You
Mhm.
don't have a whole lot of time for friends, family, sometimes even relationships. And I think
Mm-hmm.
even now, as a college student, I'm trying to make it all work. um,
Mhm.
so for me, I think trying to really create the lifestyle that I want while being in the field of work that I want to be in is something that's really important to me. And that's what I've been trying to kind of figure out now.
That's good that
Yeah.
you're starting to see that now because it's definitely
Yes.
once you yeah.
Oh my gosh. Because I was
I
just gonna
love, love, love
say,
that for you.
yeah, like having connections in this industry is really the number one thing. Because if you don't know
Mhm.
nobody, then you will probably not get a job or any opportunity unless you create it for yourself, which
Yeah.
is possible to do now, but it's easier when you
Right.
have all these connections.
For sure.
Mhm. Yeah, you're in a very, very good space.
Yes.
Um, all right, so moving on, you've also worked with Essence Girls United. What does it mean for you to write for and be a part of that space?
So for me, writing for Essence Girls United means everything, honestly. And I think even sometimes I still have to pinch myself, like, oh yeah, like I'm doing my dream job. I remember last year I made a digital vision board of what I wanted to do, and I had Essence on there for so long, and literally
Mm,
got the opportunity to write with them in like December, and I was actually writing for them by January. So
mm,
that just goes to show, please believe in yourself, please push yourself.
yes.
And I didn't necessarily know how I was gonna get to Essence. I just knew I was gonna get there. On top
Mm.
of being in a mentorship program that actually connected me with the editor in chief at the time, or excuse me, deputy editor.
Oh,
Yeah, like it was just God was just working. And I think
okay.
I just had to again be patient and just kind of stand firm on the fact that I know that God's gonna give me the desires of my heart if I'm just obedient to the plan that He has for me and really listening, not so much as
Hmm.
talking. That
Yeah.
really helps. But again, for me, Essence has always been a dream. It's always been a goal. I've always admired the publication and just their overall love and affinity for Black women. Being able to not even just Black women, but I think Black people as a whole, just showcasing our culture in such a grand way. I've always admired that. And I've always tried to
Mm,
figure out how can I contribute as well. So writing for the publication now is definitely so full circle for me. I absolutely love the team that I'm working with right now. I think they really do a great job of again pushing me similar to her campus, pushing me as far as like outside of my comfort zone with my writing. Sometimes as a
mm,
writer, you guys know you can get comfortable in writing about the same thing. So I'm trying to
yeah.
always make
Mm-hmm.
my portfolio as diverse as possible and that I'm still growing in my career.
Facts. That's beautiful. I love that. No, honestly, something about journalism, especially when you're writing, when it's print or digital journalism, you know that you're going to have that longevity because the landscape of the world is constantly changing and it doesn't matter what the content is about, there's always going to be something that we need to know about. And it's amazing that you're already on that track and you're kind of moving around the way that you are. Because, baby, by the time you about
Man,
5 years.
when you get
Gonna be
our
running things,
age,
baby. You're gonna be
listen,
running things, and I love
yes,
it.
I pray
so proud of
so.
you.
That's great.
You will be.
You will.
Yes, we speaking it right now. We already putting it
Thank
in there.
you guys.
Yes.
So,
Mm,
as you stated earlier, you attend Hampton University.
Yeah.
Did you always know that you wanted to attend an HBCU, and what was the inspiration behind that?
I did know I always wanted to attend a HBCU. I think for me, growing up in Indiana, which I wasn't born in Indiana, I was born in Michigan. So that transition was already something in and of itself. But growing up in
mm,
Indiana in like late elementary, early middle school, I was always the only Black girl in my classes. And it
mm,
wasn't really until I got older, the psychological impact that that had on me to not see myself represented and constantly second guessing myself and almost really like the flip side of it as far as when I did interact with Black girls and just the, oh, you speak like a white girl and the
mm.
really looking back haterade, honestly, as far
Yes.
as my hair, how I dressed, how I conducted myself, because I was even then at the top of my classes, and a lot of the separation came from me being in higher level classes in comparison to the other Black girls in my school. Um, and I think even though at the time it was like, oh my gosh, why does everybody hate me? I think looking back now, I can see just how they may have felt some level of intimidation. Um, and I guess how I could have combated it better. But I think again, going back to the notion of I just always wanted to go to one. I felt like there was just something at an HBCU that I needed. I didn't know what it was at the time, but
Mm.
I just knew it was something there that I needed to receive in my journey, something that was really going to push me to be greater. Because I had offers from schools that were, PWIs and in Indiana and, in the Midwest, and it wasn't pulling me. And I think even once
Mhm.
have, which is so funny. Um, in high school, I told my guidance counselor, like, I'm not gonna be here. I'm not planning to stay. And she was pushing me so hard to have a backup plan and to basically kind of
Mm.
discouraging me from even going to HBCU. Like, oh, like, are you sure
They
you want to
stay
do
doing
that?
that.
Mine
Money.
did the
Yeah,
same.
like, it's a lot of money and you will really just benefit more from going here. And I am literally to this day so grateful that I did not listen to her. Because if I would have
Mhm.
stayed, I would not have the opportunities that I have right now. I wouldn't have had the self growth that I have right now, the confidence as a Black woman to be, standing firm on what I believe in and who I truly am as a person. And not that I don't still love Indiana, but it was literally just like there was just things, and I see the difference between people who have stayed there and in myself. And some people have even told me who I went to school with, like, I should have listened to you, like I should have went to HBCU. I'm like, I had to tell you, like, because I was telling people in high school, like, you need to go try to do this, try to do that, even if it wasn't Hampton, just
Right.
to get that experience, even if you go for a year and transfer, just the experience to
Mhm.
be the majority. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Just
Mhm.
that
Yep.
for this time period of your life is so vital. And I feel like people still don't get it. But
Mhm.
everything isn't meant to be understood, so that's okay.
Yeah.
um, I think I'm just grateful for my HBCU experience, but I think overall the inspiration was just wanting to try something new, wanting to be in an environment where I could truly, not that I wasn't growing, but grow in a new way. Let me put it like that.
Yeah.
Grow in a way that was different from what I was already exposed to. And I only actually had one person in my family who went to a HBCU. Because I
Mm.
didn't come from a strong college background. I think my mom was the first out of seven of them, first out of seven siblings to even go to college. Period. So that
Mm.
already in and of itself, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't have a whole lot to reference. It was just me. And I think now that I'm getting older and I've done a lot of these things, I can set the precedent for the generations coming after
Yeah. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Mm.
And I
Yeah.
find that,
It's
or at least I know personally a lot of people who said they didn't want to go to a HBCU because they didn't feel like it was diverse and they didn't want to be around all these Black people. And I'm like, why you don't want to be around us? Like, we're
But
not,
it's also
um,
super diverse.
me. It
Because it's Black
right.
is.
people from
We're,
all over the fucking world. Like, it's
yeah,
amazing.
we're
So
not a
many different
monolith.
cultures in one place. No, we're not. And yeah, everybody has different interests. Like, that's the beauty of it, is like you may grow up in seeing one type of Black person. And then you get
Mhm.
to an HBCU and it's like, wow, like I didn't know all of this was here. And you learn so
Mhm.
much about yourself. You learn what else you may like. Like it's a beautiful, beautiful experience. And so many people just miss out and it's sad. But I also relate to you on the guidance counselor that's hating and don't want to see you actually prosper and get beyond. Like, girl, that's like a very common theme. You're not It's so many people who have talked about that same thing, and that actually needs to be looked into. Like, what's up with the guidance counselors trying to
It
keep the Black kids
does.
from going away to college? Like, what's up with that? But I love that you listened to yourself and you still went after that. That's amazing. And look at you now. Imagine had you went to that PWI. It's like, who would we be if we didn't go to the
Who
HBCUs that we
knows?
attended?
Exactly.
Girl?
And I actually
Lord,
did go
where would we be?
visit my high school, like, when was that? I want to say June. It's July. I went to go back and speak at my high school when I was in my reign as Miss Black Indiana, and I went with my guidance counselor, my principal. Um, she was just so happy for me and so proud of me and all this stuff. I'm just like, you literally was telling me not to go to this school, but
Exactly.
it's okay. I'm glad I can be the example.
Yeah.
And even talking to the younger girls who were at my alma mater, my high school, I think that was even full circle for me too, to be able just to pour into them about my HBCU experience and kind of how to navigate that school and how to kind of just make yourself stand out and really be confident in yourself. And I still keep in contact with some of the girls now, so I'm just grateful. Gratefulness is really like the theme overall in my life right now. Um, but yeah, I just think, and I think me doing that by going to a HBCU and setting a new precedent, I think that is what kind of stood out to my guidance counselor and even to like the staff at my school for them to see like, oh, well, like she did it and she didn't fail. So maybe this is an
Mhm.
option that we should consider, you know? So I try not
Mhm.
to think of it as a, oh, or like she was trying to put me down or trying to make me feel bad about what I wanted to do. I think it may have just been um they're going to go only based on what they know.
Right. Yeah, they weren't informed because there's already not enough information about HBCUs, and we already don't get enough funding for
Yeah,
programs. So people think that they're not legit as PWIs, which that's
mhm,
false.
for sure. Especially in the Midwest, I feel like there's not enough HBCU exposure at all. We're working on that though. We're working on that,
Mhm.
but it could definitely be a lot better.
Yes. So when it comes to being so involved on your campus, what are a few things you do for your mental health and self care? Because I know being on an HBCU campus is so different, especially when it comes to your mental health.
Yes, for sure. So, as y'all know, I'm big in the mental health space. I absolutely love just being able to, again, pour into people, really be able to speak to them and just kind of be encouraging. So, pretty much do the same in my own life. I always write myself affirmations. I say my affirmations weekly, more than likely daily, but I try to go for weekly because y'all know I'm running around. We can get a little busy, but definitely affirmations. I always start my day in prayer and meditation before I even get out of bed, before I even really touch my phone. I'm just starting my day in that peace, that serenity.
Hmm.
And then as I'm going throughout my week, I try to incorporate more things into my bodily routine. So whether I'm taking a bath or shower, doing more with my products and being intentional about my skincare, um, really trying to just make it as intentional as possible, I think. And it varies. That's why I guess I don't necessarily have a specific thing that I do other than like the prayer, the meditation, the
Uh-huh.
affirmation. I change it all the time based upon what I'm doing, how much time I have. Is it seasonally going to work out? Because it's a little bit colder now.
Yes.
I'm constantly kind of changing my routine so I don't get in the habit of making it too comfortable. Let's say. Um,
Mm,
Other than those things, I love reading like self help books. Those really help me with my self care to kind of help me unwind. I think right now I'm reading All About Love by Bell Hooks. So, which is
mm,
an amazing book. I love being able to just read Black literature as a whole, but I'm trying to just consistently make it work for me, if that makes sense. And sometimes what may work Monday may not work the next Monday. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Sometimes
Hmm.
we're kind of changing it.
Yes. Your best looks different every day.
It does.
Mhm. So, speaking of mental health, you are the founder of an organization that is dedicated to supporting Black men's mental health. The King's Mindset Initiative. There's many narratives that are hurtful to Black men on the internet. How does this organization combat those harmful narratives?
So I started King's Mindset with the intention of trying to ensure that a space was created. I never, and my team knows this, so shout out to KMI. I've made it a point to take myself out of the equation as much as possible. Even though I'm the founder, even though I'm the CEO, even though I'm over it, I'm spearheading it. I've always given it to my team to take the reins when it comes to actually speaking, running a meeting, even with like certain intimate sessions. I'm not there. I leave it to my team to really build those connections with people who may try to come in contact with the organization and ensuring that they have that level of comfortability. Because I am a woman, I don't necessarily know what a man is thinking all the time. My
Mm,
goal was just to provide the space and provide, maybe the ideas, things that can kind of come together. So I really wanted them to feel as though it is theirs too. But I started it in January of 2021, so it'll be well, it's been a year now, so it'll be too soon. Wow. Um, but I started in the midst of the pandemic, and with that, I really just wanted to. I was just seeing a lot outside of the whole George Floyd situation, and even just seeing the mass incarceration of Black men, and specifically
yes.
going back a little bit further to the Khalif Browder story, if you guys are familiar with that.
Yeah.
Learning
Hmm.
more about his story is that's really what like sold it for me. The mental changes that he was really going through within his psyche, being in bondage. I think a lot of men go through that and they're not even behind bars. So I think
Mm,
for me, it was about how can I make this a thing? How can I be of service to my community, to Black men? And that's how King's Mindset kind of birthed itself. Um, and how we specifically kind of do this again is through our events that we have. I think one of my favorite events that we've done is called the Black Fatherhood Summit.
mm,
Basically catered to having a panel of Black fathers kind of come together and speak about their experiences as a father, being a son, even for the women who may have attended, how can I be a better mother or a better sister or a better partner to my man? You know what I'm saying? In a
yeah.
mental health aspect, what can I actually do? So for me, that was one of my favorite events that we did. We've done some other ones, but I think By a lot of my team being college students, we did have to slow down a little bit. And trying to figure out everybody's schedule and life changes and things like that. So I am hoping to bring it back this fall. And definitely prior to me graduating, even though I am a college student right now, I didn't want it to be just at my school. I wanted to take it further than that. So I'm doing a lot more on the back end when it comes to like the legality of it all, making sure that we're protected when it comes to copyright, making sure that, I'm making the right connection on the back end because people still know it exists. It's just about how can I make it new and inventive now since we have taken a small break.
Yeah, that's amazing.
You're so great. Wow.
Yes, you are. I love
You're
it.
welcome.
But it's amazing, like that you've created that space, and you're right. There's not a lot of stuff out there for Black men when it comes to their mental health. It's like they really get left out of the conversation, and sometimes I feel like they be needing it the most.
Yes.
And so that's amazing, and I hope that you can continue to grow it, whether it's being on other campuses or just going beyond campuses because they need it outside of that too.
Yeah.
And for you to be doing that, girl, come on now. You you are that girl for real, and I love it.
Yes.
Yes.
Because looking back, how old are you? Are you 20?
I'm 21.
21. Wow. What was 21-year-old Red like? She was not doing all this. But yeah, we're proud of you because this is a lot. And
more to come. I definitely I can't take credit for all of it. God has really blessed me with the opportunities that I have right now just to give me the vision from KMI and even before that, like becoming president of her campus, going through this journey of being at Hampton and just everything that I've went through because it hasn't always been pretty. I'm going to be transparent. We went through a lot of changes just in life and loss, and I think that's what I've been learning about my journey, that it doesn't have to be perfect. And I really had to say so in my story. I don't know why I felt like I didn't, but I think it was just society making me feel like I didn't know what I was doing or just, oh, well, this is wrong because you're not doing this. Like, no, I'm actually in control of my life. I have the final, God has the final say so, but after God, I have the final say so. And I think even becoming a legal adult, staying on my own in my, my own apartment, my own place, being outside of the ruling of, my parents, my grandparents, it's now all on me. And I'm learning that I have to trust my own decisions first before anybody else in the world can trust my decisions.
Yes. Absolutely.
And it's good that you're trusting your intuition now because you already have a foundation set. So it's
going to take you very, very far.
You're welcome. So you kind of already, this is a two-part question. You kind of already answered the first question, but it was, what was the process like for starting the initiative, and were people receptive when you first presented it?
So it was definitely a process. It took me, God gave me the vision for it. I want to say like 2-3 months prior. I have to actually look back in my notebook to see, but he gave me the vision for it like months prior to me even launching it. And the hardest part was somehow coming up with the name. I had the outline. I knew what people I wanted to work with me. I had it all figured out. It was just the name. But I remember I'm just in the shower thinking like, what can I do? Because there are some organizations out there that are catered to just Black men, but I wanted mine to stand out in a particular way. I don't know. I knew I wanted to be someone with a crown or a king, but I just couldn't put it together. And I remember being in the shower and I just had like this huge epiphany. And I called my best friend, like, oh my God, this is it. And we have to do this. And she's like, okay. So we actually really put it together because she was working with me on my initiative. She was basically like my personal assistant in a way as I was kind of getting it off the ground. But shout out to her too, my best friend Zaya. Really instrumental in the launching of my actual organization and being able to just believe in me as a friend and really pushing me. There's a lot of times, especially working with the all-male team, where I was really like, what's going on? Yes, working with all male. Struggle. I love them too. So I'm just grateful again for the experience with people who, started the journey with me, maybe had to leave, maybe still were able to stay. Just even people who were just interested, who came to my events, just really believing in me. I didn't necessarily have a problem with that. I did have somebody ask me though, how, not necessarily why did I care, but excuse me, how was I going to do it in being a female overall male organization? Which I didn't necessarily took it offensively, but I think my team took it offensively when I told them because they know me and they know how passionate I am about this. But I just simply answered it as this is my passion. This is what I want to do. I've never made the organization about me. I've always like really at a lot of events, you will only probably see me maybe for 10 or 15 seconds. Like I've always given it to my team. I've always allowed the Black men who work with me to have a voice and to speak. Again, even though this is like my idea, my vision, I've always given them the floor. I've never, I don't know, I just never made it about me because I never wanted it to be about me. And I think that is why they've respected me a lot more because I'm always asking them their opinions. I'm always asking them, how they feel about an idea. I want them to feel like this is their space too because it is for them. It's not. I'm just literally the visionary. I'm just the person who God chose to execute this. And I'm now choosing y'all to help me fulfill it. So that was really the overall vision with that. I think by people knowing me, wasn't a personal gain thing. I think that was where a lot of the support came from and the backing came from and the actual attendance of. Because initially when I was telling people about it, they're like, "Oh yeah, I love this." But of course, getting people to show up is totally different. So I think when people actually saw me seriously and being consistent is what really helped set me apart from a lot of different organizations, a lot of people who are just having startups. And that's why I'm really taking my time with bringing it back to make sure that it is 100% together. I'm having the right people working with me that I can be as consistent as possible because I do want to make sure this is reaching the masses. Like my target age group is 15 to 25 for young Black boys. So that's literally the beginning of high school to the end of college. Which is a very vital point for everybody, but especially young Black men that transition from teenagehood to manhood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Vital and so important. So I'm really trying to be as strategic as possible to put this together before we come back.
Yes. It's amazing. All right. So we're going to switch gears a little bit. What is one thing that you're concerned about when it comes to post-grad living?
Where I'm going to live. Quite honestly. For me, okay, where I'm gonna live and getting my master's or not. I've been in communication with people a lot on getting my master's degree in journalism or going and getting an MBA or like an MFA, different things like that. So that's the primary issue. I think that will determine a lot of where I may stay. And I think overall, just your location makes a difference in your career as a whole. As you both know, again, working in media, some areas are better to work in than others. So trying to determine what's going to be the most cost effective and what's going to truly help me grow professionally is what will really determine a lot. I'm not so much as concerned with the job. I feel like I've made a strong enough impact in networking and working for Essence. Now I know a decent amount of people. So I'm not necessarily concerned about the job itself or even like with Bloomberg. I have the network now and the tools that I need to actually be okay. It's just okay. We're going to get our master's, and where are we going to stay? Those are like the main two. I feel like everybody's so different with that. Like a lot of people are concerned about the opposite because a lot of people plan on going back home and staying with their parents again or being in their hometown, and I really don't.
Yeah, girl,
Don't
you
do
gotta
it.
be out. You gotta go.
I never really,
Keep flying.
Yeah, like all of my family is from Detroit, so I have thought about moving back to Detroit. It's saying we have a really good media market, but I'm just not feeling. In general, I still don't feel that pull. Like I feel like I don't know. I just don't see myself being, at least not right away. I don't see myself moving back to the Midwest unless it's something very drastic. At least for those first couple of years.
Yeah, completely understand it. I 100% agree. Keep on flying. Go elsewhere because that's going to further push you and you're going to further those network, that connection.
So you've mentioned wanting to create your own magazine. Is that something you like to pursue post graduation, or is that already in the works?
Not yet. I do, similar to my story with KMI. God kind of gave me the vision on how I wanted to do it, and that was, oh my gosh, like 2018. I had the vision to get my own magazine and kind of spearhead it. So I have all of it planned out. It's just I'm waiting for God to give me the go ahead, and that's why I'm really, working with Essence and working with other magazine publications to really put my name and stuff out there so that I can really navigate it in the best way possible. I can see myself doing that probably early 30s, I want to say. After getting my
Hmm.
master's, after kind of working in the industry a little bit longer, seeing where I'm at professionally and, how my network has expanded even more. I can see it being how do you call it? I don't know, like, how people work a job for so long and they like leave and do their own thing. Like, I feel like it's one of those things. Like, I know I'm going to
Okay.
do it. It's just like, I don't want to say retirement plan either, but like one of those where it's like, I know this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my career. But
Right. Yeah, it's
now,
just another chapter in your life that you're
yes,
Mhm.
another chapter.
looking forward to.
I just don't know what
Yeah,
number yet.
Right.
that's
Yeah.
okay. You already have it planned, and that's what matters. So by the
Yeah.
time it happens, you'll have all the tools that you need to make it great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Mhm. So who or what inspires you to get into pageantry?
I don't really think it was a specific person. I think, well, okay, prior to me participating in pageants, I really wanted to be a debutante, but I did
Mm.
not have the finances in high school to be a debutante and go to prom. So my mom was basically like one or the other, and I didn't want to not go to senior prom. So I don't know, black mom was kind of like, okay, you gotta,
Yeah.
find you.
Yes.
And I don't want to say I regret it, but I went to junior and senior prom, so I really could have did without going to prom senior year. But
Mhm.
I guess it's just
You
the thing
don't
about
think about it at that time.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I could have did without actually going. But I really wanted to be a debutante at the time, and I just kind of held on to the mindset of okay, well, what can I do that's similar to that? I
Mm.
participated in my school's Miss Black and Gold pageant over the pandemic, and I absolutely loved
Yeah.
it. So I'm really just trying to find another. I know lots of alphas. But I really was just trying to find another way that I can be involved in pageantry. And that's kind of how I got introduced to Miss Black USA and that pageant system and kind of all the amazingness that comes with Black girl magic and confidence and things like that. And even in being Miss Black Indiana, I think even though I didn't have somebody specifically influence me, I would hope that I was an influence for other young Black girls, even girls in general. There was a lot of young ladies who I had met, young and old, really trying to, figure out, okay, well, how can I get involved and what do I need to do and what did you do to really help, get to where you are right now. So yeah, it wasn't a specific person. I think it was just me missing an opportunity and trying to find another opportunity to really do it. But there are still pageant girls that I look up to, like Deshauna Barber and Chesley Chris. A lot of the primarily Black pageant title holders and kind of what they've been able to achieve and what they've done has
Mm.
really been inspirational to me. I follow like a whole bunch of Black girl pageant pages now, which is so even just amazing that those are even created because the
Yeah.
industry is still not as diverse as
Mhm.
what they think. Um,
Mm.
so yeah, I hope that kind of answered the the
You
question.
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what was the process like becoming Miss Black Indiana USA, and what did your timeline look like to prepare for that?
So I officially became Miss Black Indiana in December of last year. And that whole process, because Indiana is a smaller state, let's say, of pageantry, and within that system, I didn't actually have a competition prior to me getting my title. So I was
Mm.
what's called an at-large delegate, which is basically where you were interviewed into the position and go through a series of things on that end to be in the role. So I didn't actually compete, even though a lot of people thought I did. Like I didn't. I actually interviewed into the role, and again, just went through a series of different things and that paperwork, legality things of that nature. The actual process started in January. I hired a coach. Her name is Ivy Stubbs of Crown and Kisses Pageant Consulting. I absolutely love her. And she is based out of Indiana, so that was a whole different thing too. So the hardest part about me being Miss Black Indiana was the fact that I was still in school. I was here in Virginia, even though I was Miss Black Indiana. And I only spent 2 months of my reign in the state that I was representing. So I didn't
Wow.
even go home.
Wow.
Yeah. So I didn't even go home until after classes was over. So I was only in Indiana for some of May and then June and July because I had to be back in the DMV to compete for Miss Black USA. That was really hard. A lot of my pageant sisters had the advantage of being in their home state next to being able to connect with their community, face to face, do speaking engagements and do appearances, and I
Mm.
couldn't do that. So that was really a struggle. I still was able to do certain things virtually, but I think at that point in time, the pandemic, I don't want to say it was dying, but like towards the end, like by the time I was kind of getting out of school, a lot of the virtual things were kind of dying. So it was kind of like do a virtual event. It was like, okay, that's cool, but we still want to kind of see you.
Right.
And yeah, just those couple months when I was in Indiana, I really had to hit the ground running with going here, going there, speaking here, talking here, changing outfit here, like and still practicing with my coach face to face because I was having virtual practices with her as well, which was a lot too. There's just some things that you just can't learn over a computer screen, and I just learned that with pageantry. She was really flexible with me and really great. I'm just grateful, but the process was definitely long. I think it was less about me getting the role and the title and more about, okay, now that you have it, how are we going to prepare for the actual competition?
Got you. Is this something that you think you want to continue doing?
I do. I love pageantry now. Which is why I said I just competed in another one. I competed in my school's Miss Hampton University pageant. Even though I didn't win, I feel as though the scoring was very fair. I think I really was able to build a stronger relationship with the girls who already knew who were in it. I don't necessarily know if I'll do another pageant this year. Like I'm kind of on a roll now, but we'll see. Um, but yeah, the actual age cutoff for a lot of pageant systems is like 25, 26, something like that. So I don't have that much time. So if I'm gonna do it, it has to be like kind of soon.
Yeah. Yeah. Gotcha.
Am I the next one? Or
Yeah.
oh, sorry. Can you tell us your experience with Bloomberg's HBCU Academy of Excellence?
I can. So as I mentioned earlier, when we were kind of talking about, your network and really building that, trying to make sure that you are pushing yourself in the media industry. I received the Bloomberg HBCU Academy of Excellence opportunity through LinkedIn, actually. I think that was just for me kind of, I don't know, putting certain buzzwords on my account. I don't really know how the recruiter found me. I really don't. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how the recruiter found me, but somehow he found me and he messaged me on LinkedIn. And I honestly thought it was fake. I'm not gonna lie. Just because of how it was tied. Like when you randomly come to somebody saying that it's an all expense paid trip to go to New York and to do XYZ, like you're gonna side eye it. But I did check out this account. I found out it was legit. So I was like, oh wow, okay, this is actually kind of cool. And a lot of people don't know about the program. I don't necessarily know why it's not necessarily more prevalent, but I think they just started it over the past maybe 4 to 5 years, maybe longer than that. So it's still fairly new. But I did apply to be a part of the program and I did get accepted. So that was pretty cool. And in doing so, I think I had an amazing time at the company. I love the actual company culture. The staff was really amazing. Like, I don't know. I think for me, I could tell that everything was very genuine. I can't speak for New York itself, but the company, Bloomberg, is very genuine. And the staff is very diverse. Not even just with race, but also, sexual orientation and representation as far as identity and things like that. I really met a lot of different types of people. And I think it was really inspirational to me to have a company that was really embracing all different types of people and making it known that, you're safe here, you can be comfortable here. And one thing specifically that they did that I really liked that I didn't necessarily know is that there are no job titles there per se. So everybody works for a specific department. And obviously, like, you'll know within that department, like, in charge, but there's not a specific title because they're trying to make it as inclusive as possible, excuse me, trying to make it as open as possible. And also nobody has like a closed office. Like even Mike Bloomberg, like, has an office in the midst of everybody else, and he's the owner. That really stood out to me too. Like to make it so that everybody is as equal and on the same level and feels comfortable. So that was really cool too. Like just to like go up to the owner and like ask him a question. Like, just the little things, like things that you don't really think about when working for a big corporation like that. And I think overall thing and being there with HBCU students, I really met an amazing group of people. Like I said, all the names, they know who they are. I really built a strong foundation with a lot of great people. Some of them working in media, some of them working in business, some of them even in engineering, like people who I would have never met had I not, taken a leap of faith and just, applied. Or I could have
Mm,
easily just said, oh, no, I'm not going to do it, like New York is too far, or,
yeah.
whatever. I could have, counted myself out, but there was just blessings for me there in being that opportunity. And now I have the potential to work with them. So, you never know.
Beautiful. And honestly, girl, being on LinkedIn is how the opportunities flow in. It's like if your
Yeah,
LinkedIn is
that's how this
popping,
happened, literally.
yeah, yep, exactly. Like people will find you on there. And I'm just now learning. I wish I had knew that sooner because it's like
Mhm.
that is where everything happens. All right. So where do you see yourself 5 years from now? And do you have other interests outside of journalism that you'd like to pursue?
Sure. So in the next 5 years, I definitely see myself receiving my master's. I'm gonna say in journalism for now, but we'll see what the Lord says about that. Um, Regardless of having a master's degree, I really am strong in higher education and just being able to be a forever learner. Um, Definitely being settled somewhere. I think I am really I'm just trying to find where I want to be my home. I feel like in moving a lot throughout my life and kind of being in different areas, I want to figure out what really means a lot to me and where I can really be at peace and be successful.
Mm,
Um, and I would say I'm on the bubble of eventually transition, not now, but probably like later in my career, kind of transitioning to PR and marketing. I do have experience in both. And I'm actually working on a marketing campaign right now. But
yes.
working on different campaigns and things like that, I love that. I don't know. I just love being able to be a creative and kind of put different things together. So that could be something down the road too that I'm kind of looking at. I kind of do it now, but you know, taking a break from news and journalism, which sometimes I do. I'll go back to the latter. And overall, my other pursuit would just be King's Mindset. That is really my heart and soul. And I think as I'm thinking now about, my post grad life and who I, want to be once I'm, no longer president of the organizations that I'm over and I'm out of within, who am I and who am I trying to be? And the same message still stands. Like I'm a true advocate for mental health and specifically mental health of Black men. And that's something I really want to stand firm on and continue to pursue throughout, you know, out of college into my adult life and how can I, continue to make that prevalent.
Yes, that is beautiful. So, we are on the last question. What are three pieces of advice you'd give to high school graduates or anyone looking to pursue print and digital journalism?
Sure. So I would say the first one is to definitely block out the haters, which I feel like is so hard as a high school student because I don't know. Like I feel like when you're in high school and in middle school, you're very impressionable, and so everybody's opinion matters. And that was kind of a harsh reality to me when I came to college. Like, oh, like they don't matter. So
Mhm.
just remember, even if it doesn't look like it right now, people's opinions do not matter. It matters about what you think about yourself and you pushing yourself to be successful. Number two, I would say to be risky, which may hopefully that's not taken out of context, but be risky in the aspect of doing things that make you uncomfortable. Growth cannot happen in your comfort zone. So make sure that you are doing things that really, kind of stand out and things that other people aren't doing because that's what's going to help you um, just be more open and adventurous in the long run. I feel like
Mhm.
life is all about experiences and what is truly making you happy. So just be a little
Yes.
bit more risky, even if your friends say no, they don't want to do it for you. It's not about everybody else. Sometimes it's not even about being on trend. It's not about riding the wave. It's about you and again telling your own story.
Mhm.
The third piece of advice I would give specifically to media students, excuse me, if people trying to just pursue media, would definitely be to put yourself out there a little bit more. These kind of piggyback off of the other two, but I think, excuse me, specifically with media, it's important to really do your research and kind of figure out what types of media are out there. Even in my peers here in college, I've noticed that a lot of people are just very gun ho on, okay, I'm just going to do this type of media and nothing else. That's all I want to do. Like, no, really open up and see what else is out there. Like, as a journalist, as a reporter, I've looked into sports, I've looked into weather, I've looked into political, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
trying to try your hand at everything before you totally cancel something out will really make a difference.
Yes, great advice, especially that last one, because I feel like when we first started our broadcast majors, it was like, oh, you got to be on the news, you got to be in the field, and it's like, that's not what I want to do. And when we would do video projects, we had to look a certain way, and I'm like, this is not me. So how are we gonna merge my interests with the major? So great advice.
Thank you, Sherdell, for joining us. Can you please let the people know where they can follow you?
Yes. So before I actually close out, I just want to say thank you so much, Ray and Kiera, for even having me. This was such an amazing experience, and I love connecting with other HBCU girlies and just media girlies. I think y'all are absolutely amazing. So just thank you again for the opportunity. For those of you that have been listening this far into the podcast, you can go ahead and follow me on Instagram and on TikTok at Curly Blanco. That is CURLYBLANCO. You can also follow me if you are into pageantry on my pageant page at Black Indiana USA, which is also linked on my personal page as well. But I'm very open and approachable. Please DM me if you have any questions about anything. I would love to be able to just network with you. And if you are on LinkedIn, you can go ahead and send me a request that way. Please send a message though first. Like, people try to connect you and don't explain it. So please send a message first with the LinkedIn. And it's just my first last name, which is Sherdell Baker.
Yes, period. Thank you. We appreciate you.
Thank you guys.
You're welcome. So thank you everybody for tuning in. We'll be back again soon. Until then, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is Yes Black Girl, YASBLACKGIRL. And follow us on Instagram at Yes Black Girl Series. And follow Kiera and I at The Only Raya and Unique Genre on Instagram. All information can be found in the show notes. So yeah, get into us. Until next time.
Yes. Later, YBGs.
Bye.